I'm back. I am your host, Jack Remington of Quintessence Productions LLC. Closing out the final regular season video for our Las Vegas Super Contest Simulator. And the results are in. And last week, I went 3 wins and 2 losses. I'll go over that really quickly. We won our first game out the gate. We had the Titans plus the points. That was an easy pick because Houston was going to rest their players. They did. Titans needed the win to get in. It was kind of close the first half, but they pulled away with Henry, the running back, winning the NFL rushing title this year. And Tennessee does have, out of the 12 entrants, okay, there's 6 playoff teams in the AFC, 6 teams in the NFC. I think Tennessee Titans got the best running game. They're actually better than Kansas City's running game. We won with this Atlanta Falcons. It was a pick'em game even. They had pulled away early in the game, and then the Buccaneers tied it up and went to overtime. The Falcons finally got the pick 6. Jameis Winston is the first quarterback in NFL history to go 30 touchdowns and 30 picks. Not good. His head coach, Bruce Arians, didn't give him an endorsement of any kind other than we'll see where he's at next year, which kind of, when Hollywood you have a saying that says, well, I'll think about it. What that means is, no, it's not going to happen. So and coach speak in football and organized sports, well, we'll see where he's at next year. That's not a good sign. We lost with the Steelers. We had the Steelers -2 against the Ravens. We knew they were going to rest Lamar Jackson and a couple of defensive players and their running backs. We knew they were going to rest the players, but their second string team beat the snot out of the Steelers. The Steelers needed to win. The Steelers fell flat. Their offenses just hit the skids. And their offense has not been the same since week 1 when New England crushed the Pittsburgh Steelers, when Ben Roethlisberger hurt his elbow and Roethlisberger was out the whole year. Like it or not, Roethlisberger is a top 5 tier quarterback. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's lost a Super Bowl. And Ben Roethlisberger is a special player, but without him, you can see the engine that makes the car go for the Pittsburgh Steelers on their offense is the quarterback. We lost our next pick. We had the Chargers plus 8.5, and if you look back on my video, you'll say that I lost line value because then the line was 10, and it got up to 11 at kickoff time. And see, the lines at the Westgate Hilton were set at Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I shouldn't have picked this game knowing I was losing 2.5 to possibly 3.5 points on line value. Because the Chargers came back and won that game by exactly 10 points. So we got the only dog we picked this past weekend, we lost it, ironically. But we've closed out pretty good. We had the Rams -3, a short number for a home favorite. I still say, and I will, with my dying breath, that the Rams were the second best team in the NFL last year. The 2 best teams did make the Super Bowl, New England and the Rams. But somewhere in mid-season when they lost their 3 in a row, they lost their mojo somewhere. And let's talk about where I think the problem really lies, the quarterback play. Jared Goff was horrible for a 3-game, even a 4-game skip. They won the game without Jared Goff when they turned Todd Gurley loose. He ran for over 100 yards the first half, and they cruised to a somewhat difficult win, but you knew the Rams were back on their way. So we're going to talk about the board before we erase this board. So really quick, last week, the home teams went 7 wins, 9 losses for the year. The home teams, 132 wins, 124 losses to 1 push. So it's pretty much a 50.5%, which is the lowest I've ever seen in all my years following the NFL football. I mean, this is the year the road teams did very, very well. Looking at the underdogs versus favorites on the red line, last week the dogs went 8 wins, the favorites went 7 wins. And the one game we had was a push this year. It was because it was an even game between the Falcons and Buccaneers. So whenever we get that, we always count that as a push. For the year, underdogs were 129 wins, 116 losses, and 9 pushes. Barely 51% underdogs. That's kind of what Vegas wants. The public does bet favorites a lot, but they still want this balance because of the wise guy action. The wise guys move the lines more than the public ever will. And that's something that only advanced, in my opinion, I think advanced handicappers and bettors in Vegas and Reno and the casinos in Europe, they understand that. The final, we were 44 wins, 40 losses and 1 push, just a little over 52%. We still finished better than half the people that really did finish in the Super Contest, because a lot of them don't hit 500. That's just the way it is. I mean, it's hard to bet. It's hard to hit 500 or 50-50. It's hard to do this and hit. And I don't care what sport it is. It's basketball, hockey, soccer, baseball. Baseball is really tough because they got the run lines and the juice is really jacked up. It's really hard to win at baseball. But The NFL, trust me, is the hardest of them all. College football is easier than this because I used to do college too back in the day. But maybe it's because the NFL is the hardest, is why I've been gravitated towards all these decades. And it's very, very difficult. And my mindset is you can always lose your next one. And I made two horrible picks with the Steelers and the Chargers. But next year, it'll be very different. It's always a great day to be an American. Remember, entertainment only. It's wild card weekend. Have fun. Enjoy the games. In closing, thank you. Stay tuned for the wild card videos. Thank you.